we are going to discuss about the part 2.2, I think, and we are beginning to discuss about some approaches. I think you have gone through the methods and approaches. We are going to discuss some more approaches and methods. Okay, but these approaches are called, you can see, functional approaches. Now, do you know the meaning of function? What is function? Yes. Can you tell me what is function? Function of a mobile, function of a computer, function of a camera, function of a TV. Now, in the same sense, can you tell me what is a function? Okay, function. Function means the work of something. Okay. Now there is
Okay.
you can see functions of a parliament. So the work by the parliament. Functions of computer means work by computers. So you can think, you can relate the word with language. What is the function of language? What is the function of language? Yes, to express, to demand, to command, to inquire, to order, to get information, to introduce yourself, to express your feelings, thoughts, to get entertained. So, do you think these are the functions of language? Yes. So, these all the approaches that we are going to discuss are based on functions of language. So, first we are going to discuss about communicative language teaching, that is CLT, then CLL, community language learning, then TBLT, task-based language teaching, and then eclectic method. These all are based on the concept that we should learn a language in the form of functions, the language functions, right? So first is communicative language teaching. So what is the meaning of CLT? What is the meaning of CLT? Now can you tell me the meaning of two words used in combination? Communicative language. Now what is communicative language? Communicative is an adjective here. What type of language? Yes. So be clear that the approach focuses on teaching communicative language only, right? It is not focusing on teaching words, vocabulary. It is not focusing on teaching structures. It is not focusing on teaching grammar rules and examples. It is focusing on teaching communicative language. Okay, clear? So let me discuss about the function as a word, the history of function-based approaches, and the shift from grammar teaching to function-based teaching, and a brief overview of historical perspective of the approach. Mind well, this is an approach. This is not a method. So methods and approaches in the history, like grammar translation method, audio-lingual method, or situational language teaching. The base of teaching through this method and approach was presenting grammar, presenting grammatical structures, practice of grammatical structures. So they were all having grammar-based syllabus. You see the word grammar-based syllabus. In 1972, a British linguist, D.A. Wilkins, published a document in which he proposed a shift from using concepts of grammar and vocabulary to teach the language. He told that we should teach the language through communicative meanings. learner will need to express themselves and understand themselves effectively. They should the language should be taught in a uh, uh, for the purpose of communication. The document was followed by his 1976 work, Notional Syllabus. He created a syllabus. The name of the syllabus was Notional Syllabus. It was based on different notions. For example, notion of quantity, how much, notion of location, where, the place, location, notion of time, and different functions like making requests, making offers, apologizing, right? So the syllabus were based on these functions and notions. So it was called notional syllabus or functional syllabus at that time. Once again, the functional view of language was originated in 1920 in the works of Bronislaw Malinowski. He was professor of anthropology in the University of London. His works provide two important concepts of functional approach. First is the context of situation, which is very important and necessary to understand the language, the context of situation. And second, the reference to social and emotion. Now, language is used with emotions. It is used in social context and it is used in such communicative context. So he gave these two concepts related to functional approach. So this approach visualizes language as a tool that performs a number of essential functions. As I told you, functions means different tasks. As a human being, we live in a society where we have to perform different tasks. And language is one of the tool to perform different tasks, right? Asking somebody, proposing somebody, demanding somebody, ordering somebody, inquiring somebody. So these are the tasks in our daily life we have to complete. We have to understand something by reading. So these are the essential functions that the approach focuses on. The function-based approaches are also called functional approaches. The focus is using the language in real situations, means the performance is the main uh, idea in this approach. Means how you use the language in context, how proficient, how competent you are. They use the word communicative competence. We will discuss the word communicative competence. It says that one can master the rules of sentence formation, means the grammar of a language, but still we may not be successful in using the language for meaningful communication. Means if you know the grammar, it will not guarantee you for meaningful communication. This approach says that sentence formation, the knowledge of sentence formation is not enough. So communicative competence says that instead of having this knowledge of grammar and rules, let us have a communicative competence. Now, what is communicative competence? Communicative competence has four subparts. Means first, linguistic competence means you must be able to use sentence grammatically correct. That is linguistic competence. Second is socio-linguistic competence. You should be able to create socio-linguistically appropriate sentences. Means even though you are correct grammatically, you may not be correct in the social context. The sentence may not be correct in that social context. Then discourse competence. It is the ability to produce coherent and cohesive utterances. Coherent and cohesive utterances, appropriate utterances. Then strategic competence means your ability to solve communication problems. Means whatever situation demands, you should be able to cope up with the situation and communicate. So, hello. So, communicative language teaching basically aims to achieve communicative competence, right? It includes linguistic competence. It includes. Now, what happened in grammar translation method, in structural approach, in situational language teaching, maybe they all were focusing on linguistic competence only. They were not focusing on socio-linguistic competence, discourse competence, and strategic competence. So, the main word you should remember in communicative language teaching is developing communicative competence. So, this language teaching is an approach, it is not a method. Brown, 2007, he gave a definition of CLT. It is an approach to language teaching methodology that emphasizes see these words: authenticity, interaction, student centered learning, task based activities, communication for the real world, meaningful purposes. So see these words. First, authenticity. Now, what is the meaning of authenticity? Real communication. Interaction, you very well know. Students are at the center of learning. It is full of different tasks. I will give you some example of tasks. If you see current textbook, your 9th standard, 8th standard textbooks, it is full of different communicative tasks. So students are given tasks. You see the word pre-task in your textbooks, task, pre-task, right?
Yes, sir.
So students are given tasks to accomplish using language. So the approach focusing on using the language, not studying the language. See the word difference in the meaning. Students should be able to use the language instead of studying the language, right? So CLT approach is used to teach the second language or foreign languages, and it emphasizes on the word interaction between teachers and students and between students. And eventually the students will get the communicative competence. As I told you, communicative competence is the concept given by Dell Himes. Who gave the concept of communicative competence?
Tell him.
Dell Himes in
James.
1974, right? So, in 1974, he gave this concept of communicative competence, and it is divided into four types of competence. The speaker must be linguistically competent, socio-linguistically, discourse-wise, and strategic-wise, right? For example, as I told you, linguistic competence means you must know the grammar, syntax, and vocabulary. Socio-linguistic competence means you must know how to use and how to respond to language appropriately. Discourse competence means you must know how to interpret the larger context. And strategic competence means how to recognize. So it was the approach which was a revolution for it had a growing demand for language curriculum, and the syllabus was quite different. Can you see the textbooks, your current textbooks? What are our traditional textbooks? It has a small lesson and some exercises, but here the lesson means the actual story or the paragraphs. You will keep on finding where is the actual lesson. Do you feel this? In current textbooks, if you will find it difficult to find out the actual content. Now, where is the actual content in the lesson? Do you feel this? exercises, plenty of tasks given. So this will be a problem. So the syllabus is quite interesting. It is full of activities. This approach is also credited to some educators, right? Sandra J. Savignon, Christopher Kenlin, D.A. Wilkins, and Henry Widdowson. So these are the educators who were not satisfied with audio lingual method, grammar translation method, situational language teaching. They thought that all these approach and methods focus on structure of the language, teaching grammar rules. And that's why communicative approach emerged in 1970s as the work of this Council of European experts. And one of them was B.A. Wilkins, who gave us the notional syllabus. Right? Notional communicative syllabus, all notional syllabus. Now, this approach focuses on communicative competence. Now, how do we develop communicative competence? By learning different functions. Now, Michael Halliday gave 7 major category of functions of language. Can you read the 7 functions of a language? Major 7 functions. Now you see the word how language works. First, instrumental means language works as an instrument, as a device to do something, right? To cause an event to happen, right? Second, suppose if you say get away, somebody will go away. Second is regulatory, to control the event and setting the rules. Means we use this regulatory function as a language. We give rules to the people. Then representational means to convey just the facts. Then interactional, to establish relation with others, to maintain contact with others. We use language for these purposes. Then personal, to express our personal feelings and emotions. Then heuristics, for the purpose of research, to find out why something happens. 7 is imaginative, means to create the drama, the poems, the literature, the ideas. That is imaginative function. So you understood these 7 functions? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So can you repeat the idea of instrumental? For example, instrumental means you are using the language, you are using the language to satisfy your need to do something. For example, if you want food or drink, what will you do? You will ask somebody for the food or drink, isn't it?
Yes.
So you are using the language as an instrument. Then regulatory, you are influencing someone's behavior by requesting, by persuading. Then interactional, for social relations, personal feelings and emotions. Representational, for facts and information. Heuristic, for asking questions, for research. And imaginative, right? Imaginative means for the literary purpose, right? For example, storytelling. So these are the 7 functions, and the syllabus is based on these functions. It is That's why it is called functional syllabus. Why it is called functional syllabus? Tell me. Now you see, if you see exercises in communicative or functional syllabus textbook, your current textbooks, you can feel there are some exercises related to instrumental function, some exercise related to personal function, some to heuristic function, some to imaginative function, isn't it? See the exercises in your textbook. Do you feel this? Do you feel this? So these are the characteristics given by David Noonan of communicative language teaching as an approach. The emphasis on learning to communicate through interaction in target language means English is used. Second, authentic text is used. Now, do you know what is the meaning of authentic text? Anyone know what is authentic text? Yes. Hello. Do you know authentic material means what? Yes. Authentic has two meaning. If you go in a restaurant, you will find that this is an authentic taste having authentic Rajasthani food. Now, what is the meaning of authentic Rajasthani food? Yes, real. Now, in the reference to English language, if you if you listen to English news, that is authentic listening. If you watch English movies and listen to them, it is authentic listening. Now, if you read authentic English literature, means the literature created by the native speakers, right? So that is authentic. If you read English magazines, English newspapers, that is authentic material. Okay. So Othello is an authentic text. Got it? A
Yes,
real
sir.
dialogue, or an advertisement, for example, an advertisement in English is an authentic text. So in your textbooks, you might have found some exercise with a photo of advertisement. Yes, with a label of a bottle, with a timetable of train, isn't it? So that is the authentic text. So this approach introduces authentic text. It gives plenty of opportunity to learners to use the language. It helps learners to contribute in classroom learning. Now they are active learners. They are taking participation in classroom language learning. They are active in the classroom. So based on the discussion of the concepts, we can easily uh, elicit some characteristics. For teacher is the facilitator in the classroom. He will provide all the first facility for the communicative activity. Students are communicator. Teacher are facilitator. And what is the role of students? They are communicators. They are interacting with one another on various contexts, various situations. They may be interacting in pairs, in small groups, in bigger groups. For example, dialogues will be between two, but a discussion, seminar discussion, or a meeting discussion may be more than five, right? Drilling may be there, but it is not the activity or the class is not full of drilling, right? Drilling is for the purpose of improving pronunciation of students. So, can you see in your textbook the first exercise is pronunciation? If you have observed, if you have observed in your textbooks, the teacher will say and you will follow. Have you observed pronunciation? The name of the exercise is pronunciation. Can you see it? If you have your textbook with you, right? In some of the lessons, there is a poem given. See, pronunciation. Recite and enjoy the poem. So the teacher will be reciting, students will be speaking the poem. Students' native language is permitted, but it doesn't mean that too much translation is given. No, right? Native language is permitted. That's okay. All the four skills are taught in the natural order because students are listening, then they are trying to communicate, right? Teacher responds to errors. Now, how will the teacher respond to errors if students, because students are going to interact and they will be making errors, committing errors. So, teacher will be tolerating some errors because if in the middle of dialogue or interaction, teacher continues to correct the errors, it will be a problem in the fluency of the students, right? So teacher thinks that slowly they will improve their errors. Slowly, students will get the fluency and accuracy as well, right? In communicative language teaching, grammar is the second option of the learners, right? First option is to learn the functions of language, not the grammar rules. In other approaches, grammar rule was focused. As I told you, authentic material is used. Now, can you read the example of authentic materials in this? What is authentic material? Read it. Okay. Even if you go in a restaurant and if you find a menu in English, it is authentic material. Now, see, this authentic material, just a minute, the rain is. So, newspapers, TV programs, menus, magazines, these are just the examples. But this is the type of authentic material using communicative language teaching. It is a learner centered approach. It is full of this real world context. Right? What are the benefits of this language teaching approach? Students become competent communicators. They are able to use right grammar, right vocabulary, right sentence structure in the real life context with fluency. Do you remember some of the advertisements in our English context, like learn spoken English, right? Classes having the advertisement with learn spoken English within 15 days or 3 months, right? So they focus on this communicative language teaching approach, right? So this approach doesn't focus less emphasis on rote learning of grammar rules and it has greater focus on fluency in the target language. How you speak, how fluently you speak. Students enjoy learning, right? Because there is variety of activities due to different functions of language. You remember the functions of language. It is student centered, situation oriented approach. Student centered because students are active participants. Activities are based on students' level and interests and needs. Students will also enjoy these activities. They will take part in the activities. It is a natural approach. It will develop the not only grammatical, also socio-linguistic discourse and strategic competence. It will develop interaction between student and teacher. It will develop harmonious relationship between teacher and student compared to traditional relation of master and servant between teacher and student. It helps enhance students' interest in learning the language because he is participating. He is one of the part of the situation. He is one of the character in the situation, in the dialogue. He is learning English as a pleasure. We can localize the classroom situation, the classroom activities as per our need. As I told you, it is full of authentic resources, authentic material. So what are the demerits of the method? It is difficult to even create a syllabus for communicative language teaching. You need to create situation, find authentic material. If you want to create a syllabus of grammar rules, it will be easy. So in communicative language teaching, generally there is no text available. It is full of activity. And if you want to create a text, of notional syllabus or communicative syllabus, functional syllabus, it is really a tiring process. Can you see your textbooks, your ninth standard textbooks? It is full of activities. Can you think of the work, the hard work done by the experts? Yes? Can you see? Students are expected to interact primarily with each other rather than with the teacher. Now, what happens? Teacher will be correcting, but most of the time, students are communicating with their fellow students. Proper correction of errors may not be done. Because the approach focuses on fluency only, it will be a problem in future. They may not be correct. They may be fluent, but they may not be correct in their communication. Right? So they may create grammatically incorrect sentences, though they are fluent. Students who are very weak will never be able to take part in the activity, in oral communicative activities, because they are linguistically weak, low level of proficiency. So they will not be able to use target language, so they will not be actively participating. We can take exams of grammar, we can take exams of knowledge. How can we take exam of communicative competence? Isn't it? How do we take exams? Written exams, right? Just a minute. Hello. How do we take exams? Written exams, right? Yes. Hello.
Yes, sir.
But in communicative language teaching, if you have taught students through communicative activities, is it possible? Is it a good idea to take communicative activity exam? How will you take the exam? Right? If there is a large class, overcrowded class, it will be difficult to organize communicative activities. If the teacher is good, if the teacher is a good facilitator of the activity, if teacher is preparing enough material, if teacher is finding authentic material and resources for the activity, it is a good approach, but it depends on the motivation and efficiency of the teacher. If teacher is not able to organize such activities and communicate, the teaching approach will not get success. Right? So what type of activities will be there? There are oral activities in which students will be participating in conversation. The teacher will be presenting some objects. The teacher will be presenting authentic materials like signboards, magazines, advertisements, newspaper cuttings, pictures, symbols from authentic material. Teacher will be doing activities like role play, interviews, group work, pair work, information gap, opinion sharing, asking for opinions, scavenger hunt. Do you know the meaning of scavenger hunt? Yes, I think you should know. Hello? Do you know the meaning of scavenger hunt activity?
No, sir.
So I give you an assignment. It is so famous activity. Full of language games. Do you know what is jigsaw activity? At least you should know this. Do you know what is jigsaw activity? In some real life situations, if you see your textbook, current 9th standard, 8th standard, or even 8th standard textbooks, you will easily understand how a communicative language teaching can be. So I give you a task to just see the pages of textbooks, go through the textbooks today.